Today is July 12th, 2023. I was still going on today. Started rambling about when they found him admitting to photoshopping the shower scene. The director told us say stuff. To Mel's kids lying that they're mean games to pretend and make them scatter. And then where they're laughing at FBI agent John for falling for their steno tapes before, to Eric making fun of them, to he's laughing at everybody how he fooled everybody with the steno tapes before, when people should have known better. It's a right to privacy over your own house. Okay? And then where the women that are part of selling the protected custody case were in Trinity Gospel on July 9th, 23, that they admitted to selling the protected custody case and making a lot of money, and they were in it with Melissa. And the retired Judge Pete didn't have authority to be in my house before. What was he thinking? He's the one going to go down for this. Ha 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 ha. Okay? They're mocking him big time. How he's the one going to go down. And the FBI wouldn't dare fix it after what one of their agents did. And it's like, you do realize everybody just heard you. You admitted you sold the case for a lot of money. You sold and wiretapped an FBI case and sold it. And you took credit for it. And you know you sold it. It's like February 2nd, 22 at Burlington Co-Factory, where the guy admitted to drugging me first and telling me to say it. People were in a Sable out of their houses on 6th Street screaming it to the postman. Postman was like, we all heard it. Okay? It was that bad. It was like a biggest chaos day. My one client's like, Karen, this is crazy. I'm like, who's crazy? He said, these people, they meant to drugging you and telling you to say it before. They meant to rape you in front of people in stores. I'm like, stay out of it. I'll tell the police. Okay, yesterday, July 11th, 23, I was in Samantha's in North Canton. It's a little restaurant, having breakfast with my client. Some idiot men come in. I feel bad. He showed up crying over his family, losing his family members. He was devastated. And I didn't help her. And I did talk, I just talked to a doctor, and he said it was a medication error that made her swell out so bad. And she's lucky once the swelling went down, everything started working. I'm so mad. It's 5 years later. You just talked to a doctor. You just talked to a doctor 5 years later. And what were you doing listening to Lion Ron that was playing you with crocodile tears? His kid died 20 years ago. 20 years ago. It was 15 at the time. And he's in there crying over losing his family member 15 years ago. It's called get mental help. You know, my brother-in-law died 30 years ago. Every once in a while, when you think about him, you may shed a tear or two in remembrance of him because you loved him. But do you sit around whining and complaining and everything in your life? No, that's mental illness. 15 years later, he was playing him. He died May 3rd, 2003. He was playing him like a fiddle. It's called get mental help. You're so devastated over your son getting killed in a traffic accident. 15 years later, you can't do anything? Bullshit. He runs a business. He's a grandfather now from his other children. Bullshit. He's playing everybody. It's like 15 years later, and you're that devastated, you need mental help. Because you've got other children, you got grandchildren, you got a successful business. He was playing them. Like all these people, they're just playing them. It's been 20 years. So you're going to say that why didn't Ron have the truck driver killed? Did he? How about Joyce, his mother-in-law? It was her husband that ran the stop sign, and he pulled out in front of the semi. It was her husband that pulled out in front of the semi and got him killed. They killed Joyce because her husband pulled out in front of a semi and got his son killed? Did they kill the truck driver because Phil pulled out in front of him and he didn't have time to stop and he accidentally killed him because he pulled in front of him? It was Phil's fault. Because the only thing that happened to me was a couple years before that. I told you how I got sick and I went through all those surgeries, went into pain management. They started me on high doses of steroids, alternative medicine, and I swelled up great big. Gained over 100 pounds, went up to a 24W. My legs are double and triple in size and popping out of place. And I'm like, isn't this the medication? Oh, no, it's fibromyalgia. No, it's not. It's medication error. My feet are so swollen and my legs, I'm falling. I get braces and canes just to stabilize me. My heart gets off. I'm in the cardiac ward. My pituitary gland starts swelling. My adrenal gland quits working. My thyroid quits working. I'm dying from the medication they're giving me. And I'm swelled up so big, my face started turning around. They were talking about diagnosis me possibly with lupus. They were saying and there may be another underlying cause. It was a medication. I can't wear my wedding rings anymore. My hands are swollen. I'm so swollen it's ridiculous. I'm a size 24. That's when I got into with Joanne Young. She told me about going to this doctor, giving high doses of pain medicine, get you out moving, get better. I was desperate. Okay, went from endometriosis, kidney problems, kidney surgeries, to a bunch of other surgeries that led into that. Had 6 to 10 surgeries in 2 years, cut front and back. And then I went into pain management and got that sick from the medication. And I would have never got that sick if I wouldn't have went to pain management. They gave me the wrong meds. They kept adding more. They kept making me sicker and sicker. Got on the fentanyl patches. It's 100 times stronger than morphine and 50 times stronger than heroin. Muscle relaxers. Got out moving. First month I puked. Second month, I got better. Started pulling myself around stores, malls. 7 months into it, I already went down to 16 women. That's how much weight I lost. Out pulling myself around. Everybody's like, Karen, you're going to beat this. Look how thin you're getting. Because as I'm slowly, the medicine, I was slowly going down, all that fluid's leaving me. And without pulling myself around back allotments, stores, malls, out moving around every day, I'm getting stronger, I'm getting better. And 7 months into it, Brian showed up one day, we're all at home, that Phil had ran a stop sign and semi hit him. And that they had got killed. Did I have anything to do with it? No. Did, nothing. 2 months later, fibromyalgia goes into spontaneous remission 80% of the time. It's a pain syndrome from being hurt or traumatized. Your muscles lock up. And the swelling and everything quit working was medication errors. It was over 20 years ago, but they still should have got it. But they didn't. Nothing had to do with anything. 2 months after that kid got killed in a traffic accident, I had nothing to do with. A missionary showed up and prayed for me, gave me a football lecture, fight through the pain. I already was. Rebuke the pain. I already was. By then, I'm down to a 14. 14, 16 from a 24. 3x down to a 14, 16. That's how much weight I lost. I'll pull myself around every day. And that fluid is slowly leaving my body. Mm-hmm. 4 days later, it finally went into remission where the muscles quit spasming. And it took me about 2 more months before I completely quit falling. But my feet were so numb from the swelling. It was like walking on two spring feet. My knees were so numb. I was going to orthopedic doctors and so swollen. They're pulling out turkey base full of syringes once a month of fluid. My body was just filling and filling full of fluid, and I was drowning within my own fluids. It was horrible. And everything's quitting working. I was dying from their medication. So we're estranged 4 months later. My husband and him are best friends. He made up a lie. Now I have scars all over my body. MRI reports, Cleveland Clinic reports, surgeon's reports of everything I went through. Everything's documented. Okay? He made up a lie. He's a cult leader that she was faking. She was sick and faking. Well, she got well while he was grieving. Was I faking? No. Why did he make up that lie? So Dave could sit in that church by himself and he could date whoever he wanted and I'd have to sit at home with the kids. He made up that lie so Dave could cheat. It's a lie and a cult leader made up. So his friend could cheat. And do you think I think it's funny that Ron is using his family's tragedy to get attention and to further an occult to help people hurt people, human traffic people, have people killed? Do you think I think he's funny? And help my ex-husband cheat? How dare he use his family's tragedy? And how dare he act like he's devastated? Seriously. Seriously. It's a horrible tragedy when one of your children die, especially in a traffic accident. 20 years later, you may shed a tear on Christmas or when you think about them for a second, but you don't live in that grief every day, all day long, unless you're mentally ill. And how could you look at him but mentally ill if he's wanting attention out of it now or at any point? Seriously. He's got grandchildren. Tyler and Danny were 13, 14 years old. My grandsons are 15 now. Huh? Think of that one. He's got grandchildren probably getting up there too. He's got other children. He's got a successful business. Is he sitting around grieving every day over that kid? No, he's using it to fool people to feel bad for him. He's conning him. Huh? Using a family tragedy to milk sympathy out of people and to further their cult's belief. That's what he's doing, and it's sick. The whole thing's sick. They knew it was for Dave to cheat. Come on now. They ain't that stupid. But yeah, those women in there on Sunday in Trinity Gospel, sitting right behind me. We told Melissa, now Melissa already got caught during a protected custody case, that she was stating she was lying and telling her kids to lie. Friends with Michelle, one of his other girlfriends. And telling the kids to lie and make up games of pretend. And then on Thanksgiving 18, in a legally bugged house, they got caught telling my other granddaughter, Flora, they wanted the house for Auntie Shell and Papa, and I needed to get out. Grandma needs to get out. And then later on, that they were making everything up. They were games of pretend. Giggle, giggle, giggle. And they sold the login. Those idiot women admitted they wiretapped an FBI case. And they sold it. And what party? You sold it. Did you not understand? And everybody heard you. They're sitting behind me and my client. And Trinity Gospel, they telecast it. We're sitting right in front of the minister. And they're sitting right behind me. We told Melissa to stay out of this. What would she say to me? Her kids lied. The cops know they lied. Sheriffs were laughing at Mayor 21. And Kurt just found out those kids were lying to Islam. See, the agent actually opened a case. Yeah, with statements. And they already laughed on June 7th, 23, Lighthouse Tabernacle members, and Katie's sister, his other girlfriend's sister, how they fooled him with their tapes before. He knew better not to look at them. It's the Fourth Amendment over the house. Nobody can be in your house. It's illegal, except for protected custody cases with statements. It's called entrapment. They can't even look or listen to it. He knew better. And everything can be photoshopped. And they admitted they date rape, drugged everything, and they photoshopped everything on me. Those ladies are sitting there. We told Melissa to stay out of this, that we made enough money on the sale of the login from the case. I'm like, oh my God, they're admitting it. My phone's tapped. And they admitted they sold it for money. We heard there was a retired Judge Pete in her house before. What was he thinking? He had no authority. Exactly. He's going to be the one going down for this. The FBI wouldn't dare fix us after what their agent did. You want to dare? I was talking to my one friend about him. What they said, he said that's the latest thing. Do a bunch of crimes and then dare people to fix it. Everybody needs to turn them in. I was in Acme yesterday on North Main. Some little kid looked at his mom and said, well, none of this is funny. We all know she's an informant. Said, don't say anything to her. We all found out that they photoshopped everything on her. And they walk off. I thought, honey, they've been bragging they photoshopped everything for years. From the clips together, put her in a porn. It's a shower scene, what you're describing. Ha ha ha. She figured out what they did. Oh, where you had bruises, you were throwing up, and your heart was racing. We drugged you and told you to say this. We drugged you and told you to say that. And I was really sick. And where you have your personal infection, we were human trafficking you. It's not funny doing that to a human being. I was seen by Altman family physician. Before the case started, I already lost 18 pounds. I had migraine headache, throwing up, dizzy, heart racing, almost passing out, and a severe personal infection that I could hardly go to the bathroom, and I had to be on pills and creams. And here they're drugging me, beating me, and I had bruises everywhere. And the doctor's like, did you fall? And I said, no, I don't even know where they're coming from. And here they're date rape, drugging amnesia, and drugging me, beating and raping me. And they're laughing it's a stunt. A satanic stunt because Dave was dating Katie. That's sick. That's very sick. Her sister, FBI agent John, fell for the stunt of the tapes before. You're kidding. Oh, come on now. That FBI agent actually fell for it? John actually fell for it. You're kidding. It was only a stunt. Oh, come on. Of tapes before? Are you kidding? Really? Is that what's going on? Ha, 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 ha. June 7th, 23, they tape an audio in the whole store of Walmart 62 by the front ladies' bathroom. And like they said, we all heard them make fun of that agent for falling for their stunt. And they also heard June 30th, 23, of men talking of the guy running it, which is Eric. He's a human trafficker. How he fooled everybody with his stunt of tapes before. And he fooled everyone into helping out. He made fools out of these people. Do you know what a human trafficker is? They sell women and children into sex slavery. So that makes them child molesters and child rapists. They also kill them. They're serial killers. These people have been fooled by the drug cartel that is human trafficking. They're child molesting, child rape, and serial killing women and children. And they're laughing at them for being fools. And they're daring the FBI for fixing something an agent's supposed to have fell for. I look at him and it's like, how could you fall for it? Other people said that, how could he have fell for it? He knew better. See, I went out to eat with this one guy on January 13, 23. He works in a factory, he races horses. He said, I know somebody that knows somebody who deals drugs. He said that agent, he said, I went to him and said, all the Ohio drug dealers know that you didn't know that agent was in debt to those drug dealers. He let them hurt you in front of people until I could afford to pay him back. And then they took up another amount for a drug shipment. So where Eric's stating that he stole all the money, then he's a drug dealer that John owed. He was the one that told on me to Apostolic Church of Barberton to Paul Paymer before I called him back. It was verified by officers. Dave told Danny that He had hired Pete on his own. He can't hire some man to stalk me, drug me, beat and rape me. He cannot interfere in my life at all. He cannot hire men to watch me. That is stalking. He cannot have them tape me unaware in my home, Photoshop self-pornography of me and him in bed, obtain and dispense kiddie porn of my grandchildren using the bathroom. He cannot have those men drug me and tell me to say stuff with amnesia drugs, and let alone human traffic me out of that house and leave me covered with bruises, throwing up, heart racing, massive headache, a severe personal infection, and swollen, and have to go to the doctor, and nobody can realize I'm being violated in my own home. And when I told them what was happening, they said, your ex-husband's a vile, sick animal. So are these people that did it to me, and everybody needs to turn them in. They actually pulled a case that agent opened. They actually may find some of the girls, because they actually said the places they took them, or where they're going to take me. Just like that same friend that had a friend that knew drugs, or dealt drugs. He also has a friend on the police department. Knew about the case that agent opened. Knew about the Texas group in your case. I said, the Kingsmen. He said, is that what they called themselves? He said there was a retired judge in Texas. They went down to question him in this big human trafficking scam. This is what this is. And he killed himself. There's another judge involved in another state. And that was January 20th, 23. My phone's tapped. They sold it. Everybody heard. It records into the case. For you interested in working Karen around the house. What's that? One of us have to watch or listen to her every day, or they call it Karen's will. FBI informant. They sold it within the first month. People had walked around me yesterday. We all know they sold the case right away. They should have got me the hell out of here and arrested all of them 5 years ago. Everybody turn them in. None of this is funny. They mock the FBI. They dare them to fix it. They confess to crimes. They mock the agent. They fooled with stunts or tapes before he would have known better. It's the Fourth Amendment over the house. Dave hiring a retired judge in the drug cartel to do it to me? Come on, and they were drugging, beating, raping me. He knew they were drugging me up and telling me to say stuff, photoshopping. And like the one sheriff said, everything can be photoshopped. And they already admitted they photoshopped everything, from shower scenes to whatever. And they can even photoshop your words, tape over stuff, let alone they admitted they drugged me and told me to say shit. How would they like to wake up with bruises and not know what happened to them and sick? Welcome to my world. It's not funny violating somebody in their own home, and Dave is not my pimp. He had no right interfering in my life or hiring other people too. Now, I'm going to upload this. Everybody needs to turn them in. People were talking that other people are calling for retired Judge Pete to be arrested. Everybody should. Turn them in. That's how we're going to stop them. Maybe get some of those children back. Have them pull the case that agent open. Stark County Sheriff's have mentioned it. Massillon Police, North Canton, Jackson Police, Hartville Police, Kennel Phone. Canton officers. He opened a real case of statement, September 27th, 18.